NVIDIA was one of the most in-demand tech companies in the world. Its graphics cards were selling at extraordinary rates, and while gamers and data centers were major buyers, investors later alleged that cryptocurrency miners were responsible for a significant and volatile portion of that demand. Those allegations eventually led to a securities fraud lawsuit. The case rose through the courts and reached the United States Supreme Court, where many expected a major ruling that could reshape how investor lawsuits work. But when the moment finally came, the Supreme Court did not deliver a sweeping decision. It delivered something far stranger, something that left the entire legal world blinking in confusion. If you enjoy uncovering how moments in history quietly shape our lives today, make sure to subscribe so you do not miss future videos. NVIDIA's rise in the late 2010s was remarkable. Gamers wanted its GPUs. Data centers wanted them. And according to the investors' lawsuit, cryptocurrency miners were buying them more aggressively than almost anyone else. Crypto demand is unpredictable. When crypto prices rise, miners often rush to buy hardware. When prices fall, demand can collapse overnight. Whether or not the miners' impact was as large as the plaintiffs claimed, the lawsuit centered on the idea that investors needed a clear picture of how NVIDIA's sales were influenced by the crypto boom. A group of investors, including the Swedish fund Öhman J AB, alleged that NVIDIA downplayed the role crypto mining played in its revenue. They said NVIDIA presented its gaming segment as stable and independent, when in their view, a significant portion of demand was tied to crypto market swings. NVIDIA denied wrongdoing, and the case began its journey through the courts. The lawsuit was first dismissed in federal district court because the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act requires plaintiffs to bring highly specific allegations when accusing a company of fraud. The investors appealed, and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals revived part of the case, allowing claims against NVIDIA and its chief executive officer to move forward. NVIDIA then asked the United States Supreme Court to take the case, hoping the court would clarify how specific investors must be when describing internal company documents they have never seen. When the Supreme Court agreed to hear the case, it focused on a single, central question. When investors allege that a company misled them, how much detail must they provide about internal documents they do not have access to? NVIDIA argued that under the law, plaintiffs must identify those documents with precision, including who received them and what exactly they said. Without this level of specificity, NVIDIA argued, lawsuits could be built on speculation and hindsight. The investors argued that they had already met the legal standard. Their allegations included confidential witness statements, expert analysis, and descriptions of what internal metrics reportedly showed about crypto-related sales. They argued that requiring the exact text of internal documents before discovery would make securities fraud cases almost impossible to bring, since only the company has access to those materials. During oral arguments, several Supreme Court justices pressed both sides. Chief Justice John Roberts asked about the challenge of striking a balance between preventing weak lawsuits and allowing legitimate ones to proceed. Justice Sonia Sotomayor questioned whether it was realistic to expect plaintiffs to describe documents they had never seen. Justice Elena Kagan asked whether relying on expert analysis and witness summaries could satisfy the strict pleading standard. Justice Amy Coney Barrett raised concerns about both extremes, whether allowing too little detail would reward secrecy or requiring too much detail would shut the courthouse door. The United States government also participated in the case. Arguing on behalf of the Biden administration, the government supported the investors stating that their allegations were strong enough to allow the lawsuit to continue, and cautioning the court against adopting a rule that would make securities fraud cases too difficult to bring. The oral argument revealed deep tension in the law. Some feared securities claims could become too easy to file. Others worried companies could hide wrongdoing behind internal documents no outsider could ever access. Commentators believed the court was preparing to issue a major decision that would settle this debate nationwide. But what happened next surprised almost everyone. When the decision arrived on December 11th, 2024, it was not a lengthy opinion or a split ruling. Instead, the Supreme Court released a single, cryptic sentence. The writ of certiorari is dismissed as improvidently granted. In other words, we took this case, but changed our minds, and we're not going to rule on it. No explanation accompanied the dismissal. No guidance, no insight into the justice's reasoning. It felt less like a verdict and more like the court quietly closing a heavy door without telling anyone what was on the other side. The result was simple but significant. The Ninth Circuit's decision remained in place, meaning the investors' lawsuit against NVIDIA and its chief executive officer continued. NVIDIA avoided a nationwide precedent that might have made similar lawsuits easier to bring, but the company still had to defend itself in this particular case. And the broader legal question, how specifically investors must describe internal documents when alleging fraud, was left unanswered. The Supreme Court stepped away without resolving it. The larger lesson in this case is about balance. Securities law is designed to protect investors from fraud, but it is also designed to prevent speculative or weak lawsuits from moving forward. NVIDIA versus Öhman J AB shows how difficult it can be to maintain that balance. The lawsuit continues, but the legal standard at the heart of the dispute remains unsettled. That is the story of NVIDIA at the Supreme Court, a case shaped by crypto, GPUs, and the complexities of securities law that ended with a single mysterious sentence. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to subscribe for more videos exploring how the laws around us continue to shape our lives every single day. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.